yay, it's a Jaguar I-Pace. I've been really looking forward to getting into one of these cars. So yeah, first time, jumped aboard. Haven't even started it up yet. So welcome to the Jaguar I-Pace. We are in an SE model one, an SE model. So that's mid-range for New Zealand. Start. Okay, well, they made a little noise, so it must be running. Yeah, so, how do we get going? Drive. Oh, let's go. Now, it's my second EV in this week. I've just driven the Tesla Model 3 as well, which will feature in another CarNut.kiwi episode, and now back into another electric car. So electric cars are taking up a lot of my time lately. So the I-Pace I've been particularly interested in because it's new technology from an old manufacturer. Tesla, of course, new technology, new manufacturer. And I wanted to see what Jaguar did with the I-Pace in terms of preserving what I see as a lot of heritage and a lot of, I don't know, traditional, I guess you'd say, attributes of driving. All I-Paces are powered by two motors, one on the front axle, one on the rear. They combine to put out 298, I think it is, kilowatts and 696 newton meters of torque. Now, we don't really talk in terms of peak torque because it's always peak torque. The torque's available from 0 to 12,000 RPM, which is the maximum spin speed of the motors. And that helps move this 2.2 ton vehicle from standstill to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.8 seconds, which is, yeah, going to be satisfying to most drivers, I've got to say. Anything that goes sub 5 seconds, I've found is adequate. In fact, more than adequate for most driving on the road. So yeah, 4.8 seconds to 100k. Top speed is limited, I think, to 200. And again, that's more than adequate. Now, of course, another key metric with electric cars is their range. What's the range of the I-Pace? Well, under the WLTP, which stands for Worldwide Light Vehicle Test Procedure, yeah, WLTP, that standard, the I-Pace scores a range of 470 kilometers. But as we are all aware, that depends vastly on temperature, the way it's been driven, what terrain you're going over, what speed you're doing, what accessories you've got running, things like that, because they can all vastly impact the draw on the battery and consequently the range that the vehicle's going to give you. But I've just jumped into this from picking up at Jaguar Land Rover New Zealand. The displayed range for me at the moment is 359 kilometres, so we'll see how that goes. Now, while everybody bangs on about 0 to 100k times for electric cars, yeah, it's important, I guess, if you want to get away from the lights quickly. But the main thing, of course, you enjoy with that instant torque is just that roll-on acceleration. That pickup speed from about 70, 80 to 100 and whatever is just so quick. And there's no lag, of course, from the transmission changing gears. There's no lag from an engine needing to spool up turbos or to find its peak power band. It's just there all the time when you want it, as you want it. So from a touring point of view, for a car that needs to sometimes overtake cars pulling boats and caravans and slow light commercial vehicles wandering all over the road up the Coromandel Hills, this thing's ideal, as is pretty much any electric car, because you can just nail it and it's away. If you lift off the throttle, of course, speed drops in a quite linear and predictable manner. The fact that you don't have to dance your foot from the accelerator across to the brake pedal for so many little just speed adjustments through your day, it's really quite relaxing. So yeah, I'm a big fan of regenerative braking. The tyres on those big 22-inch wheels are picking up a lot of road noise on our really rubbish backcountry rough chip surfaces here. But when you're on smooth tarmac like back there, it's just whisper quiet. very little wind noise, maybe a little bit around the top edge of the this large windscreen, but nothing down the side that I'm hearing. And yeah, if you're on a nice smooth piece of tarmac like now, it's just really quiet, really quiet. It's not boring though. It's not boring. Some electric cars I've driven are boring. This one's not. The way the car responds to the throttle, the way it responds to regenerative braking, the way it moves with all that weight down low in the battery pack. You know, it's very, see, that's a lovely piece of flying road there, lovely corner. This is a great little road actually I've just stumbled across. But the way the vehicle's moving around it, for a 2.2 ton SUV, which is sitting quite a bit higher than a saloon car, you know, it's feeling very sure-footed, very comfortable, very fuss-free, no drama, quite rapid progress here. We're going, you know, reasonably quickly, but it's just got a really nice kind of reassurance to it and a familiarity, I guess you'd say. Now, being all-wheel drive, of course, it's all-wheel drive. So it can go off-road. It's got a low-speed kind of cruise control thing where it takes it from 3.5 k's up to about 30 kilometers an hour as a kind of a crawling feature, just like other Jaguar Land Rover products have. It also has the ability to adjust your ride height with this air suspension version that we've got here. And it has an off-road setting as part of its dynamic vehicle adjustment. So far we've been driving in comfort mode, which is a default. Now, I've got the ability to change modes to eco. Nah, I don't think so. Rain, ice and snow, hardly. Or coming the other way, down the menu, we can go to dynamic mode, which is, oh, it's been confirmed and it's gone red on the instrument panel here. Now what that is basically a checkered flag, so it means sport mode. It's firmed up the steering, it's given it some more weight. Apparently, it's stiffened up the dampers on the air suspension. And it's also, oh yeah, sharpened up the throttle response. Oh, quite considerable sharpening of the throttle response. I think I might leave it in dynamic mode because that feels a bit more me. And I'm sure it'll be a bit more you as well if you were behind the wheel of the I-Pace. You probably wouldn't want your SUV to go any faster than that, frankly. And again, whatever speed you're at, as long as your motors are under 12,000 RPM, you've got that big, fat, juicy torque ready to just kick you along even faster. Nice, really nice. Now this vehicle itself has a lot of extras, like about $18,000 worth of extras. They include privacy glass, the panoramic sunroof, configurable mood lighting, a head-up display on the front of the dash there up onto the windscreen. It also has the electronic air suspension and the 22-inch wheels, which are a $5,650 option. So this particular SE has climbed all the way from $155,000 to $173,800. So you can certainly spend a lot of money on your I-Pace if you want to. Now in New Zealand, the I-Pace comes with 5 years scheduled maintenance, a warranty and roadside assistance for those 5 years too. Now what are you going to get for your scheduled maintenance over 5 years? Well, I'll tell you what you get in 5 years of running the I-Pace. You'll be sorted for 3 internal air filters, washer fluid and brake fluid. That's basically your lot. That's what they expect it'll take to keep this thing running in tip-top condition for 5 years. The battery itself is warranted for 8 years or 160,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, and the warranty on that stipulates that within those 8 years or 160k kilometers, it will be still operating at 70% of its original battery performance. So that would give you some peace of mind as terms of the longer term running costs of this vehicle. But after those 8 years, and if you're looking at new battery packs, don't know. It's a 90 kilowatt hour battery arrangement, and you can charge it a number of different ways. Now, if your public charging station is only capable of 50 kilowatts, you would get 270 k's of range in an hour. If you're going to be charging it at home, you've got, again, two options. You can have a home charging box installed in your house, which will allow you to charge at about 35 kilometers of range per hour. 10 hours, 350 k's of range. Now, if you don't have that home box, which I don't, I just have a regular 3-pin power cable plug in the wall, I'm going to enjoy only 11 kilometers per hour. It's 7:30 in the morning. Just up in the garage here, turn the light on, and I've had the I-Pace plugged into the wall, just a regular wall socket, for what is that, 15 hours. It was an early afternoon yesterday, 4:30 in the afternoon I started it. At that stage, it had 186 k's of range left in it, which was, I think, 51% of its range. So what have we got in here now? Okay, so there we go. It says 295 k's, 80% charge. Yeah, okay, so it's put on about 140 k's overnight. Oh, I've just seen some power pylon down here. I wonder if I can get some inductive charging through my I-Pace's panoramic roof. If I pull up here underneath the power pylon, no, still 275 k's of range. There's no way of getting free power from high tension power lines, I'm afraid. Oh well, worth a try. I've driven a few electric cars now, and most of them leave me a little, I don't know, underwhelmed. Once you get past that acceleration party trick and the fact that it's quiet and it's novel and there's some interesting technology that you don't encounter in internal combustion engine vehicles, generally I run out of things to do when I'm driving. There's no gears to shift, there's no, engine note to listen to. It's a kind of a bit bland and a little bit, I don't know, sterile, I guess you'd say. But I haven't found that in this car, and I'm trying to put my finger on why that is. I guess the fact that it still feels very much a Jaguar. It still feels very refined, well-engineered, well kind of dialed into a driver. The fact that it's traditional in a lot of senses. I mean, yes, you've got this massive glass roof, and yes, you've got this completely digital dash, but you've still got analog knobs and the occasional button here and there, and things still feel largely familiar. And for me, I think that's quite comforting. Maybe younger people who haven't had such a background in driving cars over the many years like I have might feel happier with a completely high-tech interior, like a Tesla, for instance. And I like the Tesla too, but I find this more immediately appealing because it's more immediately familiar. So Jaguar seems to have kept all the good stuff from their past, but also embraced a lot of the good stuff from the future. And yeah, for me, that's a pretty successful combination.